mentioned all lines of actors, entertainers that you imitate. That's another word, imitation. I haven't another one yet. But have you thought about doing more sort of political stuff? Have you ever tried to do that?
A little bit. And here's kind of where I fall into the canon of impressionists in the UK. We have the guys who do the politicians, your Rory Bremners and guys like that, and then we have the guys who do a lot of TV celebrities, like game show hosts and then soap stars and sports personalities, and then you have me. I think that I don't know who else does what, but then what I do is because I grew up with movies and I love movies, and I really wasn't interested in politics, in terms of politics or impersonating politicians, and also I don't like politicians, so it's harder for me to impersonate them because I don't like them, which is easier for an impressionist who's going to attack someone because they don't like them. They could do it and attack them and you know, smash them apart in that way. Whereas I do it with love. I'm like, I love Johnny Depp, I love Homer Simpson, and it's like I'm embracing that kind of feeling and then like sharing that with the world, you know. But yeah, it's interesting. Good, nice question.
Come on, we got to get into the chopper. Come on, we got to get out of here. Come on, we got to do it.
Bill Cosby.
You know, I have 5 children. I saw you wanted to stop. I take very long to say anything, so I'm going to take up too much time.
Do you think you have to have a certain kind of voice already to be able to...
I didn't always sound like this.
No.
No.
Well, when I was a baby.
Well, no, but even when I was a kid, I was much more high pitched, like just lighter in the voice. I wasn't so, and also my accent was different because I grew up on the streets in it. But I used to speak in a way like I was into breakdance and hip hop, and I used to speak like rap. You know, like, yeah, what you saying, man? Like, are we like sticking here or what? Or, like, are we gonna? Yeah, man, nah, I want to go and watch Tom and Jerry though, innit? And I used to speak like that. And then I left school and became an actor when I had to, and I read more once I left school. And I became an actor, and I realised I had to find what my voice was, and a neutral voice as well, so that I could become any voice for any character and learn accents and things, but just find a way, you know, like you just, you know, like RP or just, well, be well spoken, I suppose. And also I'd been back and forth to India, and I'd been to the States a few times, and then growing up watching all these movies and impersonating them, my accent kind of, I found my well spoken voice, and then my accent just went and it became like a clusterfuck of accents. It's people go, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "London." They go, "But you don't, you know, you don't have a London accent." I go, "Well, I'm from everywhere then."
Austin Powers.
Very groovy, baby. Hey. Yeah, you're heading for a smash bottom, baby. Yeah.
Elvis Presley.
Oh, hell, since my baby left me, Mark's been staying at home and jerking off.
Stewie from Family Guy.
Oh, really, Brian? Oh, yes. Finish up now, have we got the Annie becoming friends from becoming enemies? Well, I look forward to reading it. Yes.
The Godfather.
You know, I'm gonna make you all an offer you can't refuse. The only problem is I'm so old now I can't remember what the offer was. Could have been something like 2 for 1 at Lidl or something.
And I think people do it without knowing that they're doing it anyway. Because mimicry and copycatting and impersonating is something that we do when we're young, which is how we learn to live in the world. Because when you're a kid and you got your parents or your siblings or whatever, or you see something and then you mimic it, don't you? And you're like, ah, ah, and you're like, ah, ah, and then you do that. And as you get older, you adapt with your friends, and you move with what you see, and you receive that information, and you see the world, and you pick it up. That's why kids walk around bouncing and stuff, because they see other kids walking around bouncing, or their heroes are doing that in the rap videos, and they dress like that, and we start impersonating each other without knowing that that's what we're doing, or considering it to be that way. So so we're already doing it, and then I don't know if you've ever been in an argument with someone where one of you's being the really stroppy one, and they go, "Oh well, go then," and then the other person goes, "Well, go then," and mimics that person in the argument. And lovers do that a lot, you know, and I've heard it all. So you'll get this kind of thing happening, this behaviour thing, and so we're already doing it. And all I do is I consciously decide when I'm going to do it and switch it on, and I'm aware of when I'm being someone else or, you know, impersonating someone. Whereas most people aren't, they wouldn't register that. And you can, and in my show as well, I actually do get audience members up and teach them how to do an impression in 60 seconds. You know, and I break it down. And they don't believe they can do it. And I've had men and women come up on stage and I've taught them how to do Clint Eastwood. You know, and they're like, what? They'll start laughing. They go, well, I don't even know, I don't even like Clint Eastwood. I'm going, it doesn't matter. And I get them to do it, you know, the face and everything, and then the voice, and they give it a good go, and there's been some remarkable ones, and they go, I'd never known I could do that. And then at the end of my show I teach everyone how to do Robert De Niro, which is one of my favourites, and that's so much fun. Like, that's just seeing, like, you know, 100 people doing Robert De Niro, and then telling you to get the hell off stage as De Niro, like, and it's like old people and kids and whoever's in the audience, you know, and doing that is and then they have a lot of fun with it, and it's quite an infectious impression. People walk around going, you know, a lot, and it's so I think, you know, you can learn it, but what you do with it, I don't know what you're going to do with it once you've learned it. I mean, you have it for goofs, unless you're going to go out there and use it. But yeah.
Clint Eastwood.
I'm sure you're all expecting me to say, go ahead, punk, make my day. But I tell you what, if I stick this magnum gun up your ass and pull the trigger, I might just make you a whole week.
Al Pacino.
Oh, I was standing at the bar. I gotta tell you something. I was standing at the bar. I saw a girl. Great ass! I want to get my head all the way up. Ooh, look at my eyeballs. It's like I'm still on all that cocaine I did in Scarface.
Darth Vader.
The force is with you, impressionist, but you're running out of time.
Yeah, I suppose actually, because talking about sort of going on and then using it, there's I mean, on TV, there's not a lot of impressionists.
Not anymore, no.
No, it's...
Dying breed.
Yeah, why do you think that is?
Don't know, I think what's happened with TV and comedy, I mean, it's gone in the direction of what it's doing now, is whatever it's doing now. You know, I can't keep up with it. I'm not sure they're just constantly trying stuff out, and it's fine, but the impressionists have kind of come around sort of in generations, haven't they? Like they're not sort of like a constant throughout. Like in comedy, there's always a sketch show, you know, and there's always like a satirical political guy, or there's always the panel shows, you know, and impression shows are never the constant in the same way that all those other forms of comedy TV are, and that's probably because there's so few of us. And when John Sessions and Phil Cornell did Stella Street, that was great because it was, you know, it had characters that were inhabiting the same area, and it was a narrative, you know, rather than a sketch show. And most impressionists do sketch shows, which I just find it's a bit old school, like watching John Colshaw's The Impressionist Show. Like, he's very good, but I really can't watch the show. It's boring. I never laugh. It's, you know, am I allowed to say that? Sorry, man. It's to do with the writing, I think, and it's to do with the way it's executed. And that it's like, hey, let's do an impression show. Well, let's do it how we've done it for the last 30 years. Why, you know, like, I did a thing on BBC called How to Impersonate, and where it's me, and we had a green screen studio, and then I do How to Impersonate Homer Simpson, and then I actually become Homer Simpson in the makeup and stuff. I don't know if you've seen this, but and then they put me in Springfield and all of that, and you just go, and it just really like smashes through that old style TV format and just brings it right up to date, you know. And it's like bang, and it's quite sexy and it's fresh and it's, you know, and it's moving like that. And that's just one sketch. That's just one thing, you know. But my impressions, I'm writing with a friend of mine a narrative-based TV thing for me as a impressionist, so that the impression, so it's almost like Seinfeld, as in I would be the Seinfeld guy. I'm the guy who can do impressions, in that Seinfeld was a comedian in his show, and then all of these things happen to me, and you know, and it's a narrative. You know, there's the same regular characters. There's the neighbour and the girlfriend and whatever. So you take that. So it's taking a format that works, but we've never had an impression show that has a narrative since or before Stella Street. And Stella Street did it in a very small way, and I'd kind of like to, you know, try and bring it forward. Otherwise, I'd get bored doing a sketch show. Hey, here's Jack Nicholson as an ice cream man. Hey kids, you want a 99 flake? I mean, so what? Like, people have been doing that version of, hey, wouldn't it be funny if, and I don't do that. And I if I've ever done it, or if it comes into my thing, I'm like, I don't like, no, go away. I don't want that kind of, you know, wouldn't it be funny if stuff. It's like, it's just do what it is now, or connect it to yourself. And my Edinburgh show this year was connected to how the impressions have impacted on my life, and being an impressionist has made my life what it is. And so it wasn't a sketch show, and it wasn't me using costumes and props and wigs and things. It was just me, like a stand-up comedian, just talking about my life and how being an impressionist and doing impressions has impacted on my life. And that's where the impressions come in. But they're all real stories, you know. And it's those stories that we would put into the narrative for the TV thing. So.
Yeah, well, I think that, to be honest,
so it's real in that way.
Yeah,
you know?
it sounds like it's sort of about time for that, because when you get impressions, when they do crop up, like Peter Serafinowicz or Rob Brydon, or people, you know, the audiences love it.
Yeah.
So if it's just, there isn't at the moment like a format where they can go, and those sort of ideas where, I mean, there's sort of, obviously there's things like Lead Balloon, which is about a comedian living his life, and Louis C.K. thing in America, but with an impression, I think I would add something extra to it.
Yeah. I'd hope so.
Yeah.
It's just finding people that want to develop it and produce it. And the problem with TV and with what's on or what isn't on is the producers and the writers. That's it. If the writers don't write it, the producers aren't going to produce it. Can you hear that?
Yes.
That's the producers and writers knocking on my door now going, we just heard your idea, we'd like to come in and buy it.
Nelson Mandela.
Last summer was my 90th birthday, and I must say I had a very good time at the party. But I was disappointed that Amy Winehouse was not there, because I also like to go crack cocaine.